Well, we have made it through the full second month of 2025. We are at session 4 of the 2025 Ageless Edge Big Goal Unicorn Challenge. So I just want to believe I am Andrea Goeglein, by the way. I'm just supposed to say all this stuff. I want to believe that you've actually been doing the exercises from month 1 and month 2, which means you have now got a relatively intimate relationship with Chat GPT or some other AI vehicle. I'm staying very focused on one so that I really get the best out of it. And I've even paid for a subscription. It is now part of my work team as far as I'm concerned. But when it comes to developing bigger goals and stretching yourself, I will tell you, it is an invaluable tool because it helps you put the stress in the learning in the right places. So let's do a little bit of a review. In the first month, you were just writing down as many ideas as possible, like, what do you love to do? Of course, if you're in my work, you've done your values in action for free, and you are thinking about using your strengths as the thing that propels you. During that time, you started to play with AI and start seeing like the work you have now, the career you have now, the business you have now. How can you use it where you are? And as those little thoughts are coming up to you, how can you use AI to help broaden and have you think in ways that you would not have thought before? And then as you moved into month 2, that activity with AI went specifically to you developing resumes. You know, I'll tell you a cool one, and it's not 100% refined yet. So one of my real loves is everything media like this and podcasting. And I have decided to try and see, are there actual paid positions for the work that I like to do? So I have taken my very big resume in a lot of different ways of, everything from owning businesses to being a consultant, doing things like this. How do I sculpt that? Because I also had a podcast, a solid podcast for 3 years. And I do a lot of things in the media and have since 05, 06. So I had AI. First, I just gave them my various resume chunks. Then I gave them my media stuff and it organized it. So what it has allowed me to do is go back in and invest my time reading my own material from the eyes of someone that would be looking at it saying, is this someone we want to work with? So it is a very useful tool in that regard. It is also, and I will tell you this, so full of errors and needs to be corrected almost every time I use it. That's where your thinking comes in. Don't think it's going to do the work. It does the initial heavy lifting. It helps you think. It helps you open up your mind. But you have to bring the accuracy to the tool. So I told you to do it and know that I did it. I will admit that at the end of February here, I've got about an hour's worth of work on it before I take the next step. But it's going to get done. The other thing, and I want to speak very specifically to those of you who are independent consultants, and a realtor is an independent consultant, financial planners. Maybe you own barbershops or salons, hair salons. As you have heard repeatedly in the media, specifically this month, when people who had careers no longer, immediately those careers are vanishing. The whole segments of employment in the last 25 days have literally vanished and will continue to, from best I can read. What is important for us is to use technology to help keep us as up to date as to how do we adjust the work we're in. So the real estate industry is one that has been continually revamping how they sell, what the commission rates are, all of those types of things. Social media, those were big vehicles for them. And I almost am speaking somewhat historically about those things because the task of why consumers will come to realtors is on the verge of changing yet again. And using AI and asking the right kinds of questions, such as, and I don't know if this is the right, I am not a realtor, but I'm just going to give you an example. I've been a realtor. These are the top tasks that I do today. Where can I develop and how do I develop business going forward? And a question where you actually ask, what is the best thinking of what the industry of being a real estate broker or a real estate agent looks like in the next 24 months? Now, I'm going to tell you, don't go out for 10 years. Keep it as condensed as possible because the changes, keeping it really tight will help you keep your eye on what's changing right now that I have to respond to so that I can keep my business thriving. I was amazed 2 years ago to hear a board member of the Urban Chamber who had barbershops say that he was meeting with his staff on a regular basis. Now, normally barbershops and salons, they are already contracted, like you're renting space or there's some sort of an agreement as to what percentage of what you earn goes to them. All those models are going to be changing. And he was helping his group of, I'm not exactly sure, team members, let's just use the term team members, think through what is your business going to be as it keeps evolving? Like, the likelihood is someone will need to cut your hair. I already know that there are robots that can do my manicures. I'm not sure if it's something I'm dying to do, but know that it can be done. If it's doing our heart surgery, a robot can correctly paint my nails. Economically, it probably doesn't make much sense right now. But those are the things that you use AI to think of, whatever business you're in. Start asking, what does this job look like in the next 24 months? What changes in technology should I be aware of in the next 24 months? Not to scare yourself, but to prepare yourself just to be flexible. You're not preparing yourself because AI is right in what it's going to tell you. You are getting used to the fact that nothing is going to be the same. Nothing is going to be the way it was in the past because of the innovations that we're using and on the verge of using going forward. That is merged with the concept that we are humans and humans have desires. We like to dream big. We are self-motivated. We like to achieve. And we like people, different degrees. But there are things about we humans that, I don't know if you're finding this, but I am already watching the movies and seeing the AI effects. When I see AI graphics, and I develop them because I'm a visual person, so I had AI develop some visual pictures of things I wanted to achieve just so that I can hold. But I've got to tell you, they're silly looking as crap. I mean, these are AI, it's like Stepford wives and men. Their faces all look the same. It's kind of crazy. But it helps you in your visualization. It helps me in my visualization. And the desire to dream big and think big is not going to go away anytime soon. I mean, maybe it will go away. I hope it doesn't go away. But for now, get yourself really comfortable with how you think about it. And I will say that in the last day, I was asked to think about a very big project, and it was restructuring an industry in a new and different way. And of course, I had all of my ideas on how to do that. I mean, I do have a PhD in uh, organizational psychology. I did a whole lot of strategy and visioning and things like that throughout my career. This is different, though. This is saying, what does a historical industry look like? And what are models that we know to be successful today and profitable today? Make sure you use your right words. And what will they be going forward? This is the way you should be interacting with AI so that it becomes I'll use it. It should become what a dictionary was to me as a kid. You had a resource to look into. That's what AI is. It's a flawed resource. My dictionaries and my encyclopedia were far more accurate than a lot of what AI spits out, but you get close enough. It allows your thinking. It takes you off that point of stress of like worrying, like, how am I supposed to figure out how to do this? And it starts giving you something to push back on and say, oh no, that would be stupid. I don't want to do, or I don't want to spend my time that way. Those are all important things. Now, for this next set of weeks, what I would like you to do, and know that there will be an exercise that will be the second thing I'm going to speak to you about. But for now, and somewhere in the next day, I want you to engage in an activity that you can do by yourself, but I will do the setup. So come back to wherever we are in this video. And here's the setup. I'll tell you what it is you're going to be doing. You are going to write yourself a letter where you're sitting in February of 2026 and you are thinking about, what is it that I am feeling so incredible about? And then you're going to write this letter, and then you're going to hold this letter, and then you're going to mail this letter. I probably mentioned it in the last video because I actually did it with a team. So I want you to pause for a moment, come to this point, and I'll set you up. Or you can come back to this point and do it when you're ready. So I want you to get yourself as comfortable as possible. Take a few deep breaths. Think about February 2026. Think about where you may be sitting, what the room would look like, in a really comfortable chair of some sort, maybe with a beautiful view, and maybe with a drink of any kind. I've got my San Pellegrino and lemon juice. And I want you to really be reflecting back on February 2025 and March 2025 and April and May and June. And with each month that you say, think about how great you feel about the things you're doing that is getting you closer and closer to the goals you want to achieve, and how the things you're doing in each one of those months is helping you think bigger and bigger. Now take yourself through each month. Make sure you're really feeling it. as the months change, the weather changes, with the way the sun looks changes. Get into it all. Just saying the different months, you'll start thinking about, oh, my birthday was then, and I did that, and oh, I went and I did this visit, and these are all the things that you kind of already know are on the calendar, and interspersed your thinking about the things you want to create during this year. And as you've taken yourself through each one of those months, then just pause. Take another few breaths. Pick up your pen, have your paper, and write yourself a spectacular letter of congratulations, telling yourself how incredible it felt to do those various things in each one of those months, and how without even knowing it, you started to build towards the goal that you have been holding yourself back from doing. Now you should really pause this video, go do that, and then come on back. Now, I really hope that you did that. And wherever we are in this video, I'm not exactly sure. The last part of this, I'm going to give you a little bit of research. And somewhere in either when I send out this video, you'll know that you'll have an offer for a free ebook from a leading expert in neuro leadership and the network neuroscience. That is how the brain actually helps you achieve. And this is the cool thing about AI and the brain. Our brains already are hardwired to do incredible things. However, we need to continually spark it. And the work of network neuroscience is techniques, tiny techniques and research that proves why you should do it. Like that last little letter, that's a technique. But I want to read to you 2 or 3 points out of a book called The Neuro Wisdom Book. It's a book I used. It came out in 2017, and I used it a lot in my work because the work comes from great research and the fact that Mark Wallman, who is who is the lead author on this book, he's been a professor of an MBA program. So his work always focuses on success in the economic realms and what at the intellectual and spiritual level we need to do in order to spark our ability to be the most satisfied and successful economically. So there is this one chapter early on about our desires and our motivations. And I have 2 or 3 little parts that I want to read to you. Our desire is insatiable, and it comes from ancient evolutionary process based on past threats to survive. And I think we are currently in a threat to survive. That's why I chose this. That biases all living organisms, including humans, toward greed and selfishness. Don't get nervous. It is where desire comes from. The fear of survival, and the initial feeling is really greed, and that I've got to, survival is a very individualized task. You're not thinking about, oh, I've got to take care of, I'm unemployed, I need to take care of, I've lost my business, I need to take care of everybody else. No, unless you're Gandhi, I'm not sure that's going to happen. Greed actually stimulates the motivation centers of the brain. And the more drive you have, the bigger the rewards you will seek. So know that these natural instincts are only bad if we become destructive human beings, but they are the seeds that actually help us think better. They're not going away anytime soon, okay? They are not going away anytime soon. Furthermore, the more you develop your neurological capacity for empathy, see, I told you there was a good part, the more fairly you will treat others. So know that there is this natural instinct, but it is empathy and the development of empathy. And know that I have a whole show with Mark on that very subject. But empathy is your ability. Like once you realize my business is now gone or my job is now gone, yeah, your first instinct is, what do I do for me? But within that, you start using your social networks to help each other build the future forward. Like helping others when you are unemployed is actually going to make you feel better. But that's a whole nother conversation. So in the next exercise for month 3 is actually the exercise, and I'm going to do it printed for you. It is actually Mark's exercise on desires in specific categories. And again, it's an exercise, pen and paper exercise. I'll go through it at the beginning, the first program that we have in March. But know that having desires is what helps you spark for bigger and bigger goals. And if you already are at a point where you know what you're pushing for, write me. We'll work on that as much as possible separately so that you keep moving forward faster. So for now, know that there will be another exercise. It will be for month 3 for March. It's going to be focused on desires, but I want you to get that letter done first because there is this really great sentence. And where did the really great sentence go? Here it is. The research shows that the more you consciously think about your desires, the more motivated and skilled you will become at reaching them. So these may seem like crazy, senseless things to do, but know that you're breaking down your own barriers, that rigidity of thinking that our day-to-day lives get us into. And that this is all about that time for you to be able to really let loose and think as freely as possible. You're still going about your daily life. You're still doing all the things you have to do. I'm just giving you additional tools so that hopefully bigger thoughts and bigger goals break out from it. So on that note, I will leave you. I am Andrea Goeglein. When you go to Serving Success, you will be able to download all of the attachments for each one of the months. The videos are on YouTube, and I will make sure you get the link in order to get Mark's book. So thank you. And the next class, I am almost positive, will be on March 12th at 5 p.m. And DM me if you will be able to do that with me live. I would love. I just know that a lot of people are watching them. The 5 or 10 people that are involved are really doing it, watching the videos after the fact, because this is always scheduled according to my schedule. So thank you.